Good morning to you. Happy Sunday. It is the Sunday after the awful Saturday before a 4-1 thrashing. Let's call it what it is. It was a 4-1 thrashing. A terrible performance from start to finish. A lucky goal. Goals can be lucky, but other than that, nothing to really shout about. I thought we were horrible defensively. I thought we were horrible offensively as well. I think a lot gets made of our defence, and we'll get back into this, but I also think that we look awful going forward as well. I think, we're not seeing the same vigour, the same kind of commitment we saw going forward with Kane, Son and Kulusevski. But we'll get into that. So today in this premiere, I want to talk about the 4-1 thrashing, the piling up injuries, and also what is happening at this club from top to bottom. We said it last week, and I think this is the thing. Like, when we win a game against Man City, of course, everyone's ecstatic, and they come into the comments section of the YouTube channels, and everything is, oh my God, you're in the mud. Look how brilliant we are. We're going on a run. We're going to win the league. Look how great we are. That was Conte ball, blah, blah, blah. And I always say the same thing. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't get too carried away or too dejected. It's like, listen, it's not about the one-off game. It's about consistency. And for me, my personal mantra has been that win doesn't mean anything. That win doesn't mean anything if we then go and lose to Leicester City. I saw lots of people talking all week. People have been saying, haven't they? Like, well, look at the games you've got coming up. We're going to get 12 points from our next 12. Leicester are poor. We can beat them. And then we go and get absolutely thrashed by them. That, for me, it's not the losing. I think being a football fan, you acknowledge you're not going to win every game, right? We acknowledge you're not going to win every game. But for me, it's the manner of the defeat. It's the manner of our performances all season, which has made me feel just so disconnected to what is going on the pitch. And look, there's lots of issues. There's lots of issues. So let's go through. Let's have a look at yesterday's game. I just felt they got in behind us and they played through our midfield far too easily. Every time you look up, they were bypassing our midfield, and Harvey Barnes, Maddison, Iheanacho, all running at our defenders who couldn't cope with them. And let's be really, really honest, it should have been more than 4. And again, as I said, for me, yeah, the defence, absolutely shocking. It's a shocking back three. We know that. But there was no protection for them. I mean, listen, for as well as Højbjerg and Bentancur played last week, I thought yesterday they were really poor. I really did. I thought that they were bossed. I thought they were bossed in there by players like Mendy. I felt that they just looked defeated before the game had started. It just seemed really, really strange what was going on the pitch. We should have been buoyed and G'd up from beating Man City, but in true Tottenham fashion, we went all negative. We went all no energy. Yeah, there was no fight, no determination. We were losing every first ball, every second ball. We just had no answers. So as much as, the defence is terrible, I'm not just going to blame the defence for that. I thought the whole team was poor. Kulusevski, at the moment, for me, looks a shadow of the player he was. Of course, come back from injuries. Heung-min Son, you know my feelings on Heung-min Son. I don't think he's ever going to be the same player. A couple of goals against Preston North End don't change my mind on that. Harry Kane, I've said this time and time again. I know I speak about this, me and Henry Wright speak about this all the time. Say that if Harry Kane doesn't play well, Tottenham don't play well. And yesterday was a game where Harry Kane couldn't get on the ball. He couldn't make things happen. Not completely blaming him, but it just goes to show that when Kane doesn't do that, we look a shambolic football team with no plan. Look, everyone knows my feelings on Conte. I'm not fussed. I've never been fussed about Antonio Conte. I also acknowledge that there's no point him going. What will change? So for me, when I look at all these factors, it just feels like we are in a bit of a mess. Okay, granted, people will say, well, we're fifth, we can still get Champions League. Yeah, of course we could, but I always try to look at the bigger picture. And for me, the bigger picture is what's going on at the club. What's the plan? I keep talking about this. What's the plan? What's the ethos? What do we want to be? There's nothing coming through the youth. Our transfers, I don't, and they just seem so hit and miss. They don't seem like they're being bought for a particular style or a pattern, or you go from a 33-year-old left wing back because he's free. Then you've got a right wing back in Jed Spence from the Championship coming in. It's like, well, what's the plan? Are we going young? Are we going old? We're not buying centre halves in when we desperately need centre halves. It just all seems a bit strange, and I don't see how this changes. I just don't. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and make this an Enoch Levy out bashing. Everyone knows my feelings on Enoch and Levy, and I want them gone. I'm also old and ugly enough to know that it's not a reality that they just go. I'm also old and ugly enough to know that they're going to want, I don't know, just 4 billion, 5 billion for the club, whatever they want. And that's the magic number. Until that magic number's hit, I just don't know how this changes. And this is why when people always say to me, oh my God, you're not happy with one. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy, but I don't get carried away because I'm looking at the long term and I can't see what we're doing. Yesterday was a typical Tottenham performance for me. Get a goal and then, I don't know, just don't kick on from it. I thought we were horrible all over the pitch. I thought it was a shocking debut from Pedro Porro, shocking defending from Davis, Dyer and Tanganga. I think Perisic is gone. I'm sorry, I've said this all season. I think this guy is finished as a top flight footballer. He puts in a good cross. His corners are good. On the ball, I just think this is a shadow of the man that we've seen. And he's 33. Again, so why do we buy him? Why are we buying him? Good news on that front is Udogie can come in next season. But again, I'm not going to get carried away because we've got to see him play first. We've got to see him in a Spurs shirt. So the midfield, as I said, I didn't think it clicked at all yesterday. I didn't think they gave any cover to the back three. And that's the difficult thing, right? The back three aren't good. You've got to protect them. And we didn't. And then the forwards, as I said, I just thought completely lackluster all afternoon. I don't know what happens now. Worse than that is the injuries we're picking up now. You now look at it. I mean, whatever you think of these players is a completely different debate to what I'm about to have here. You've got Ryan Sessegnon, who's now out for 6 weeks, leaving Perisic as the only left-sided defender, wing-back, whatever you want to call them. You've got Basuma, who's out for 2 to 3 months minimum because of the stress fracture. Bentancur came off last night. Lots of people talking about, is it an ACL? Obviously, I don't think that's been announced yet. We'll wait and see. But if it is, that's him for the season. Then you look at it like this. Spurs will have, going into this period, into the Champions League games and into tough Premier League games and FA Cup games, you're going to have Højbjerg, Skip and Sarr. Højbjerg is suspended for the first leg of the AC Milan game. So we're going into that game with a midfield of Skip and Sarr. Really, what are we going to expect from that? Listen, I'm not going to blame that on Conte or whatever. I mean, it's difficult. If you did have Højbjerg, Basuma and Bentancur all missing at the same time, I can't even really put that on Levy and Enoch, can I? Because three injuries or suspensions at the same time of that importance is rare. But what it does show is that in the summer, again, the famous words in the summer, we've got to add some depth. We have got to go and buy some top quality players for this 11 and add depth. Which is why I said the January transfer window was appalling. It's an appalling window where we didn't strengthen in any areas. We put in a right wing back, and that was it for me. It's really, really tough. So look, this is going to be a really difficult with these injuries piling up. You've got, Hugo Lloris is out for however many weeks. Not been playing well all season, but again, I mean, that's your captain, and he's out for a while. Fraser Forster came in. Could he have done better with a couple of goals? Probably. I mean, but would it have been any different if Lloris was there? I don't think so. I mean, but the whole thing for me basically is a mess. I'm not sitting here in front of you blaming one person. I'm not going to sit here and go, everything Conte's fault, everything Levy's fault, everything is parity. For me, the whole thing just doesn't work. The whole thing doesn't work. I don't think the Paratici-Conte connection is right for a club of Tottenham Hotspur status. I think these are guys that need to be at a top club that will do whatever is needed to go and win things. And unfortunately, we're not that club. That's not how we operate. Look, I'm worried for the rest of the season. I am worried. Said it last week. The Man City win doesn't mean anything to me in contextually for the season. It doesn't mean anything to me if you don't then go and back it up. But look, we conceded 4 goals to Leicester City. We conceded 3 goals to Leeds United. Bournemouth scored 2 past us. Yeah, we're conceding goals at a rate of knots, and still no centre backs are being bought window after window after window. Also, I just want to say as well, people last week, people who came onto my shows, and I'll be bringing this up with them tonight, people going, oh, it doesn't matter that Romero got sent off. Well, you saw it did matter, because look at how we were without him yesterday. This is the problem. Everyone was going, oh, my God, yeah, he let Haaland know he was there. He got sent off. Brilliant. It cost us yesterday. I'm not saying we would have won the game if he had played, but I fail to believe that he would have been as bad as the other 3 were. So again, it's things like that when we as a fan base, we get so excited because someone's come out and kicked us centre forward in the air for no reason, got sent off, and then look at the effects it has on us the week after. Good news is obviously he's to come back in. But look, we go into a really tricky period now where we've got Milan away in the Champions League. Milan not in any sort of form, but I mean, who do you want to play if you're in no form at all? You want to play Tottenham, don't you? Especially if it's going to be Skip and Sarr in the middle. It's going to be tough on those 2 lads. They're going to have to step up massively, and I don't think that's fair on them, to be honest. We can question the substitutions, but I mean, I think the game was already, once the game went to 3-1, it was done and dusted. So look, all in all, not a good day for Spurs. Not been a good week when you look at the injuries piling up, the result. But this is a Leicester team, by the way, that had only won 2 of their home games so far this season. And I believe someone who sent that to me, that was Leeds and I want to say Forest, but I might be lying there. But yeah, then Spurs come to town and they just roll us over 4-1. Like, it's embarrassing. Top to bottom, things have got to change. It's not enjoyable. I'm sorry. I know some people really like this stuff. It's not enjoyable. I do not like wing backs. That's just me. I do not like this formation. I really don't. I don't think it gets the best out of any of our players, to be honest. I don't know who's profiting from it, because it's not the forwards, it's not the midfielders, and it's not the defenders. I don't know who's profiting from this, but that's a completely separate debate. By the time you're watching this, I would have finished recording. This is a premiere. Please leave your thoughts. We will be back tonight with a Spurs review, and I'm sure it's going to be a very feisty one. Defeats like that normally do get people's engines firing, and then good healthy debate comes off that. So please join us at 7:00 with myself and the usual guests. Please please subscribe. We just went past 3,200 subscribers, so thank you very much. I really do appreciate that, and we'll just keep plodding along and seeing what we can get to. Other than that, enjoy your Sundays, have a great day, and at least we know Spurs ruined yesterday, which means they can't ruin today. See you later all. Take care. Bye-bye.